What's going on, everybody? Welcome back to the Pillow Fort podcast. We're still going over the Promised Neverland. This week we are talking about chapters 38 to 52, which I think is called like the Mysterious Forest arc. I'm not totally sure. We spent a lot of time in the forest, and it is quite mysterious. But that's what we're covering today here. So I guess, yeah, we'll just start right into it. So, Kate, since you have not, this is totally new content for you, right?
Yes.
Yeah, so this
fully
is
new.
Yeah.
This is where the anime stopped, or at least what's out of the anime currently stopped after we got out of the plantation. So
no creepy doll people anymore. We can just focus on canon material.
yes.
Crone does not have a doll. Oh my gosh.
No.
Yeah, so anyway.
I will say, though, yeah, like, it was very accurate, like, word-wise, other than, like, a couple things, honestly.
Yeah, no, I'm sure it's, like, pretty close. I mean, the problem, you kind of have to, you can't really deviate too far from the source material with this specific manga, but yeah, I should probably also tell everybody who's here. I'm Luke, also known as Shonen Express. Kate, obviously, she's the newbie to the Promised Neverland, and Shania is with me as well, with us as well, like we usually have. So, but yeah, Kate, since you're new here, what are your thoughts on the Mysterious Forest arc? What'd you think?
Yeah. So, like, we start out pretty strong, honestly, with, like, the whole, they fell through the ground, like, almost immediately. At first, like, they had that moment of panic where, like, Emma and Ray were separated from the rest of the kids, and then they came back and all of them were gone. So,
yeah.
as soon as that happened, like, I immediately just thought, like, the demons got them, like, it's over. Like,
you were
it.
done.
We barely even got out here. Like, this is really sad. But, yeah, the, like, underground, like, tree that, like, kills living things, that was really insane.
Yeah. And then they're like, oh, this is why no demons were around here.
Yeah.
This is why, it's because there's a vampire tree.
Hmm.
Ray just starts off so, like, confidently safe. Like, there's no tracks, there's no this, we're fine. And then as he's down there looking around, he's like, oh, this is why. And then I like his reaction to Emma being like, I've seen this before, it's in the book. And Ray has, like, this minute where he's like, are we about to trust a fake book right now? And he's like, no, I'm gonna go with Emma. I've been going with Emma, it's gonna be good.
Yeah.
Yeah, what did you think, Kate, about that, like, how the book kind of played into, like, it's like a survival guide for them. I don't know if you have, I thought it was really cool, but, yeah.
Yeah, I thought that was amazing, and also just, like, you know, Emma's ability to think on the fly like that, like, oh my gosh, like, I saw this in the book, like, this is what happened, you know, like, so, and just, I think it's, like, so amazing that, like, they make those connections, and they're like, that was their proof that, like, this is the almost survival guide to how we live out here, and, like, make it to, William Minerva's house, at least.
Yeah, can I just say, like, how on earth did he expect anyone to be able to make this connection?
Oh my god.
They were like, snakes in a cave in the winter under the ocean equals vampire tree in the wilderness. Like, what? Yes. How did he expect that?
I don't know. I think it does, in part, have to do with the fact that he meant for only the children that get full marks to be able to figure this out. Like, because I think he knows that only the children that, like, do get those full marks will be able to figure out, like, how to decode the survival guide and make those connections, because I think, like, literally nobody else would. Like...
Yeah, that's what Sanju comments on, where he's like, there's only, besides Gracefield, there's, 4 other plantations, so if the books are going anywhere, it's those spots. So he knows he's going to the cream of the crop with this, but still, it's a leap to make. And, like, if Ray and Emma hadn't fallen down in there, too, like, would Gilda or Dawn like pieced it together because they hadn't looked at the book. So that would have been, could have just nerfed, 13 of 15 kids in one fell swoop. Could have been quite the trajectory change.
Just everybody dead on the floor. That would. Although, sometimes I wonder. No one is safe from me after the last arc, so I'm always. That is kind of fun. I do remember like being like when I first read it, I was reading week to week at this point. But I was like, oh my gosh, are all the kids dead? Are they? They're all dead. It's just Emma and Ray now. They're all dead. They did all that work to save them all, and now they're all dead.
Yeah.
It was crazy. That was insane. One of my favorite like little sections of this arc is when Ray specifically is like running from the pursuers, and I think it gives us like, I mean, obviously it tells us a little bit about Ray, but I think like we kind of get to see the pursuers and a little bit more of the demons in that and kind of where they stack up, like where the kids are in relation to them. But I don't know. Did you have any thoughts on that, Kate?
Yeah, like I thought that like chase was so cool. First of all, like Ray is such a G. Like he's like avoiding these like demons that are clearly like faster, stronger. Like he's making like routes with his body and like avoiding them and everything. And I think, like, especially in this chasing moment, there is also, like, a lot of character development for Ray, because he kind of goes from the idea of, I'm going to sacrifice myself for everybody else, to, wait, I actually want to live. Like, like, what can I do so that I can live in this situation? But yeah, it was really interesting to see like the different types of demons, I think, because when we first saw like the demons when they were taking Connie or whatever, like we just saw the one type that was like kind of almost the human-esque kind of demon, but there are obviously ones that are like almost animal-like and ones that are like just less intelligent than those ones that are more human-esque, you know? I just thought the different variations was like such a cool spin.
Yeah, the hierarchy of the demons is pretty cool, and that's something that they explore in later arcs and stuff. But I do love Ray's character development and how still he's my favorite conceited boy, because he's just there running from these demons and he's like, it's a shame I can't die. Like, it's not even a possibility for him. He's like, I'm gonna win this and it's gonna be great. And he has all these plans, and then the main pursuer just like comes in and kills that giant beast he's leading away, like just out of nowhere. And then that whole thing where he's like, shoot, what do I even do here? And they just want him to do that, but he's just so in it now, and he's so like, no, I gotta win somehow. I gotta get back to my crew. And I love how the kids then yell at him later on. And it's kind of jumping ahead a little bit, but like they yell at both Ray and Emma. They're like, you can't keep doing this. We love you both. Get it together, okay? We're gonna all live together. Stop being like this.
I love that the kids like. Those are the moments where I'm like. I like can see that they're like real kids, you know, when they berate Ray and Emma for that kind of stuff. It's like, it's a very like kind of like normal thing that they're doing there in this otherwise crazy world. And so I like seeing those moments, but one of the pursuers, the main, I'm not sure, or at least I'll say that we're not sure at the moment, if this is true or not, but it almost, so there were like those like kind of the pursuers, there was like the one main guy, and then there was like those other like almost dog looking ones that could talk and stuff. But it seemed like, I don't know if you guys noticed this, but that the main guy, like he sliced like this whole tree in half with his hand at one point, and that was the moment where I was like, oh, these things, we don't stand a chance then.
Yeah.
Like, there's like, I was like, because at first you're kind of like, well, I guess, I mean, Ray's got some speed, sure, but like, he's dodging them, like, he's able to keep up, but then you see that and you're like, oh, he's dead. He's absolutely dead. If they wanted him dead, he'd be dead. And it's because they need to keep him alive. Yeah, go ahead, Kate.
No, I almost think like the like bigger boss demon, he's like, I don't even want to catch this kid. Like this is like grunt work. Like like I don't need to use my abilities to catch this kid, but like I mean obviously, you know, he escaped because like Musica saved him, I think, or it might have been
I think Sung Jo saved Ray.
Yeah. So like he saved him and everything. That was like the only possible way Ray would have gotten out of that situation. It almost seemed like the boss demon was like kind of frustrated too. Like, I can't believe I have to do this myself. Like, why can't you just catch this one kid? Like,
yeah. He's like it's very interesting to see like the demon society. Obviously we got more of it this time, but that is probably a good time to talk about Sung Jo and Musica, the two demons that we meet that are not actively trying to eat our main characters. Well, I mean, at least one of them isn't. It's
not fully true.
So, Kate, you're reading scans, right? Like
what?
Online, you're reading scans online. Like me and Shania are reading the physical books that I have. You're reading scans, right? So what is the female one, the female demon? What is her name?
Her name is Musica, I think.
That's what we're gonna go with because I don't like what they did in the books. Sung Jo is the same. Sung Jo is the same, right? Like that's. But it's in the books they do this with another character's name that we'll get to in another arc, but they like Musica's name in the books is like Musica, like with a J.
Oh.
And I'm like, okay, but we're gonna go with Musica because I feel like that was the intention. That word makes sense, I guess. But anyway, yeah. So, what did you think about these two? I mean, or either one, we could break them down. You know, whatever. What did you think about them, Kate?
Yeah, at first, like, honestly, I kind of guessed that they were demons from when we first saw them. Because I was like, it's very sketch that they're not showing their faces. It's very sketch they got these, like, big robes on, and they have, like, this seemingly incredible strength that, like, normal people don't have. And I'm like, I don't know why, like, Emma, like, these are, like, really smart children. Yeah, like, I was like, and Emma was like, oh my gosh, you're a demon? And I was like, why are you shocked by this? Like, you're smart. Like, I'm like, I feel like I figured this out, so you should definitely be able to figure this out. But yeah, I thought that they were cool though. Like, I didn't expect at all to meet any demons that, like, weren't into eating humans, which was good. So yeah, I think, like, Musica, like, really developed kind of a relationship with the children as well. Like, she really, like, cared and loved them. And, like, that moment where, like, her and Emma are, like, sitting on the, like, the tree or whatever, and Emma's, like, showing Musica pictures of, like, all of the other kids back at the farm. I'm like, wow, this is so wholesome and wonderful. And I'm so glad that they could, like, form this friendship. And it just was something that I wasn't expecting. And it's good because I'm like, so now I can see that there are demons that obviously think differently. And I mean, Sung Jo, like, I was like, oh, okay. At the end, I was honestly kind of shocked because I really did think he had the same mindset as Musica did of, like, I don't want to eat people, like, I don't think we need to, whatever. But, like, he definitely has different beliefs. His main goal is to be able to hunt people again, so.
Yeah, it's funny watching how they, like, sort of had a switch perspective, because I think Sung Jo even says, like, at the beginning, Musica wasn't as interested in them, and it was just like, oh, if we turn them in, we would live well or whatever, and then she becomes invested. Emma's over there being, like, a happy pseudo mom, being like, look at my children, I love them all so much, literally pulling out the Polaroids. And I love the comedic moment where Emma sort of meets Sunjo for the first time, because they're like walking down that hallway, and then right as Ray's like, "You're a demon," he appears behind them, super creepy, and Musica's like, this is a bad time for you to just eerily show up behind them. It's not, we're not killing you. I got lost again, and I'm like, that does not look good for anyone involved. But then, yeah, he's like, for religious reasons, but he's like, either they're going to break the promise, or they're just going to, grow wild again, and I can hunt them. And I was like, I forgot that you're, like, not a good guy, but, like, not a bad guy either. Like, give me some complicated feel, Sanjo.
I like that he's like, Sunjo's like, why are they scared? And Musica's like, because you have a spear. We're like, right.
He's like, what was I supposed to do? They're young children. Was I just going to leave it there? And I'm like, that's a fair point. The youngest they've got with them is, 6-year-olds? They would definitely play with your pointy spear.
Like a concerned uncle trying to childproof his house. Like, he's like, I wouldn't just leave it there. Yeah.
I don't get why they're scared. I don't get why they're scared. I carry around a giant spear, and I'm like 9'5".
Sharp teeth, messed up face. Why are they afraid?
I don't know why they're scared.
It just looked like Intimidation, the character, but whatever. Why does Musica look so, like, soft? You know what I mean? Like, she's the first demon we meet that's like, why are none of your features jagged like all of the others? Like, but I and as we go along, there might be a reason for that. I honestly don't remember, but yeah, but anyway. Yeah, I really like these two. I think that they add something, like, they majorly expand what we know about the world, but just the fact that, like Kate, you were saying, like, that there are demons that don't eat humans, like, that's even a thing, was something that I definitely didn't see coming when I first read it. And yeah, they're really cool. I really like Sunjo more and more because of how edgy and creepy he is. But I wanted to bring up this moment because, so, like, as the kids are leaving, right, there's, like, and him and Music are talking. That's when Sunjo goes into, like, the whole, if they break the promise and there's more of them, even if they don't and they just repopulate things, I can hunt them. And, like, that's why I want to help them. Like, and he goes after that and, like, kills the pursuers. And he says something like, I got to make sure that they don't see me, or, like, they saw me and then he went and killed them. Do you think anything's up with that, Kate, or do you have any thoughts at all? Have you thought about that moment whatsoever?
Yeah, like, definitely. That moment was definitely one that stuck with me, I think, because I definitely wasn't expecting it from, like, Sunjo. Like I said before, I was expecting him to just, like, kind of have the same point of view as Musica did. But, like, I just think that that's really interesting. Like, I wasn't expecting him to go and, like, kill all of the pursuers after saying that. I was like, okay. But yeah, I think, like, maybe I, like, have this inkling or, like, this feeling. It's because, like, they know him somehow. Like, he used to be maybe a part of the whole, like, deal that was going on with, like, doing the plantations and all that kind of stuff and all the farms and everything. But I'm thinking, like, maybe he, like, left, or maybe, like, killed, like, some other demons when he left, or did something really bad. So maybe they're, like, on the lookout for him. Like, he's, like, almost a wanted criminal is what I'm kind of thinking of to the demon population. So that's kind of, like, my current theory about that.
Yeah, he's definitely, like, a very layered character. And then Musica brings, like, her own mystery, because he comments when talking to her that she doesn't have, like, a need for the meat or desire for the meat or something like that, which is different from him. So they're, like, not only do we meet these demons, like, so starkly different from the demons we've been exposed to so far, but they each seem to have their own, like, interesting thing going on. And so like, leaving them again, I'm like, I want to know more about you, though, and I want to know more about this world, because I love how they start off and Sanjo's like, I don't know where you got 30 years from, but this has been like rocking for about 1,000 years ever since we made this whole promise. And then Emma is just fatally optimistic. She goes, oh, there's a promise that we can't reverse where the worlds are separate forever. No, sir. You see, I have the power of optimism on my side. And we're going to find the door. I'm going to kick it down and I'm going to go get my boy Phil. And then Sanjo and Musica are just like, she's so hopeful. Or I think Musica says it best when she says something like, oh, Emma's not strong. She had to become strong. And I'm like, yes, my optimistic queen became the strongest woman alive. Thank you for noticing.
Yeah.
Yeah. It was, I think their optimism in that moment was like, it was definitely strange. I was like, I mean, that's not probably the reaction I would have to finding out that this is like a separate world.
I'm in demon prison.
And that this has been going on for 1,000 years. But, like, I do kind of get it in a sense because it's better than the worst case scenario that they imagined. Like, they were imagining worst case scenario, this is like a demon's world. The entire thing is a demon's world, and there's no place for humans at all. So they're like, oh, there's a door that we can pass through that, like, leads us back to the human world. So now they have a bit of optimism, like, they have that light at the end of the tunnel that I think they needed to, like, just keep pushing them forward. But it was so crazy to find out, like, that it's been, like, 1,000 years since the world has been like this.
Yeah, the whole concept, I mean, this arc really taught us a lot about, like, the world that they're in, with the whole promise and everything, but I like how, like, the answer is, like, it's so close to their worst case scenario, but there is that door, you know? There's that window of hope, and of course Emma's gonna jump through it. Like, you know what I mean? Like, she's just kind of wired to think that way, but, like, and you can even see it, I think, in Dawn and Gilda, Gilda, I think, specifically says something like, she's like, this is really close to the worst case scenario. There isn't humans out here. Like, and we can't seem to cross the door, so it's cool that there's a door, but we don't know where. Like, it's so, like, close, like, I really like the writing aspect of it being really close to the worst possible scenario, but not quite there, and there's still something we can do. There's somewhere we gotta get. I think it's a really, really good idea. But there's also, and Kate, I wanted to ask you about this again. I'm asking you a whole lot of theory questions today. I don't know if you thought about any of them, but this arc is, like, full of them. But so Musica says to Emma when they leave, she says, find the 7 walls. Do you have any clue what that would be? It's okay if you don't, but I don't know if you have any idea what the heck she's talking about.
Yeah, honestly, I have no idea whatsoever.
That's fair. That's very fair.
But, yes.
I didn't either, to be fair.
I was like, I don't really know what she's talking about here with the 7 walls. I mean, as soon as she said that, it made me think of, like, the farms and, like, all of the walls and stuff, but, like, that's not it, obviously, because they're getting out. I mean, I do think it has something to do with, like, the passage into the other world, but I have no idea what it could actually, like, physically be.
Yeah, no, to be fair, when I was reading this, no clue at all. So, it's interesting. It's going to be interesting as we go forward to see this whole thing kind of played out, and it seems really interesting that Musica, like, she gives Emma that little pendant thing and tells her that. It seems like and that's what leads Sungjo to have that conversation with her about, like, oh shoot, you seem like you're actually on their side.
Yeah.
It's Musica, like, really backing them is interesting to me, I think. As they kind of, and obviously a lot is learned about the world too.
Yeah, also, like, what I think about is, it was also interesting because it seems like Musica was trying to hide from Sungjo what she said to them. Like, she didn't actually say what she said to them. She was like, oh, I just said goodbye, I'm gonna miss them a lot, whatever. Like, and I think that, like, has a lot of significance, too. Because it almost feels like if she would have said that she said that to him, like, he would have maybe gone after them or something like that. It seems like she's hiding that for a reason, and I don't know what that reason is, but it's, like, so intriguing to me right now.
Yeah, they're two super fascinating characters, because it's definitely... I genuinely forget the significance of that statement. Like, I forget what we're going to find at the Seven Walls, or what the Seven Walls are. But, yeah, like, you can definitely tell that they have two opposite things here. What?
Just the biggest plot point in the series. I wouldn't worry about remembering it.
It's like I'm reading for the first time all over again. But, no, I do like, though, these 6 days being the, like, mini training arc for them as they, like, learn all these different skills. And I felt for Emma, it was a big move. So, like, Ray had his whole transformation of, like, I'm gonna live for them. I'm never gonna abandon them again. And then, like, optimistic Emma, who I feel like always wants to find, like, the least harmful path, is like, Sanjo, you gotta teach me how to hunt. You gotta show me how to do this. And learns that skill. So it's like a really cool, like, training arc where I think Emma and Ray both developed in this, like, way that we hadn't seen them before. And also, reading the books, I've taken to reading, like, the little side stories, and there was, like, this little funny, like, what if Norman was there? And the consensus was that he would have to build up muscle mass in order to use the bow correctly, because for those who don't know about bows, you gotta be strong enough to pull that string back. And I like that they just started, no, Norman would need a minute to figure that out. He would get the theory, but pulling that string back. I'm like, don't roast the man. He's not even with you. He's, come on, too soon.
Too soon.
Too soon for Norman. Yeah, it's this arc is very interesting. And so, at the end, right, we make it to a bunker. William Minerva
we do.
was right. He really led them somewhere. And we make it into the bunker, and we see, I believe, the very last panel of this arc. We see a dude sitting there.
Yeah.
So a
human dude.
A human dude. And so my question, he is kind of jagged, but he's not a demon. He's a human. Yes. My question is, for you, Kate, did we find William Minerva? Is that who's here?
I don't know. I'm just like, I'm really kind of going back and forth in my head because I feel like I would want William Minerva's reaction to, like, more children arriving just in general.
Sure, yeah, any, like, really, at this point.
Just any children, yeah. Would be, like, more excited, like, wow, you found out, like, how to get here, like, you did it, good job. But, like, I mean, I also think that it could be less of a reaction because he's been there for so long, maybe? Like, sure. I don't really know if he's just been, like, worn down by years of being, like, underground or something. Or, like, if it's something else. But I don't know. I expected him to, like, look and, like, present himself very differently than he did. So, honestly, I'm very 50-50 right now as to whether I think this is William Minerva or not.
Definitely concur. It's not the welcome I think the kids were expecting to get or that we're expecting to see, because whoever's in that chair has definitely been through it. Like, that's clear. He's tired. He's done.
You only drink out of a broken teacup out of true desperation.
Yes.
Yeah, he doesn't look great. We could say that for sure.
No.
But yeah, no.
Yeah. I found, like, also kind of the downstairs area was just, like, a little creepy to me. I'm not gonna lie. Like, the whole numbers on, like, the doors and everything. I was like, I don't know how I feel about that. That seems like it's, little sketch here. So yeah, I have a couple concerns about this situation that they've been led into.
Feels very underground prison, like not
yes,
little psych ward kind of deal. I don't love it. I don't love what we're looking at. Yeah.
The doors don't have windows; they just have numbers.
That's no good. I don't like numbers. Have already hurt me in this series. I don't know if I need numbers placed on things that don't normally have numbers. It's not
right.
Already hurt me. Yeah. It's definitely a very interesting arc, and it definitely develops the world a ton, and sets us up going forward. I mean, we've made it to a bunker. So we'll see what goes on forward. But Kate, did you have anything else about this arc that you wanted to say or was interesting?
Yeah, like really quick, I just wanted to mention, like, I think it was really cool that we found out what the flower thing was in this arc. Like, we didn't really touch on that yet. But, like, yeah, I just thought that was so interesting. Like, it was almost, we found out that it was, like, basically a part of their, like, culture and their religion to do that, almost. And I thought that was, like, super interesting. Because when you see that at first, you know, you're like, why is there a flower in all of these people's chests? Like, that's a really weird thing. But, like, it was really good to, like, get that clarity, I think. And, like, see, like, exactly why they do it. Like, obviously it's for, like, you know, bloodletting and stuff like that, too. But, like, it also has, like, a very deep, like, cultural and, like, religious, like, meaning to the demons.
Right. Yeah, I can't believe I forgot the whole flower thing that we had explained. Yeah, I like that whole moment where Emma and Sung-jo are, like, he's teaching her to hunt. That was super interesting.
Yeah.
Because, like, especially, like, you know, knowing by the end of the arc, knowing what we know about Sung-jo, it's so interesting that he, like, takes this time and almost like mentors this human girl, like, and you can, I mean, you could think of a bunch of reasons for that, but that flower stuff was super interesting. I've definitely always thought that. I love that then Emma makes the connection to, like, Connie was still alive then when they put the flower in her. And Sung-jo, like,
oh my gosh.
Sung-jo saying, like, your friend didn't suffer, it's not painful. Oh, yeah.
Yeah. I think it's interesting, this whole harvesting process in general, because this is also the first time we get that there are other types of farms, and that Gracefield and, like, 4 others are unique in that whole free range style of livestock rearing, I guess we'll say. I think that's the direct comparison we're supposed to make here, and that there's other farms where it seems like humans are just, like, on machines. Because Sandra's like, they couldn't even have the idea to escape. Like, I don't think they know what thoughts are. And so, like, seeing that grade of meat versus, like, what Emma and them are, it's just, like, I don't know. I forgot how gross it was, like, looking at those other farms.
That's so crazy, though, because you're, like, completely right. Like, almost Emma and, like, the 4 other farms, they're, like, the free-range organic version.
We're looking at Kobe beef right here.
Yeah, exactly. It's like they're the high-quality meat. But also that's interesting to, like, find out about that, because then you think, like, oh, there are only, like, 4 mothers at a time then. Like, that's... Because, I mean, obviously the other places wouldn't really need mothers, you know?
Well, yeah, but I think there are only 4 farms, but within Gracefield is all of the 5 farms. Yeah. So, like, Gracefield has 5 moms, but we don't know about the structure of any of the other ones. I assume they're similar.
Right.
Anyway, not that really matters. But, yeah, there's not a whole lot of moms.
Yeah.
That was terrifying, by the way, for me to like see the humans in the other places, like the mass production farms. I'm like, oh no! And he's like, yeah, they really don't even have the opportunity to think. And I'm like, oh my gosh!
Oh.
From birth, you're just on a tube and actively. Oh, that's no good. But luckily, we're dealing with the high-end, cream-of-the-crop organic meat that is the main cast. Yeah, right. Shania, did you have anything else you wanted to cover we didn't touch? I was good bringing up the farms. That makes a lot of sense. All right. Okay, so we will go back into the 3 questions that I will ask of all of us every time. And the first is, who is your favorite character? And I'll start. Although Ray made a run for it, I'm still going to say that Phil is my favorite right now. Even though he did absolutely nothing in this arc. Phil has touched my heart in such a way that he is still my favorite as of this moment. Yes. Kate, who's your favorite character?
I think my favorite is still probably Ray.
Yeah. I'm going to keep repping Emma. Like, really, I know that going into this, so I'm interested to see if that ever changes moving forward. Like, if someone will sneak up on me, but it's Emma. That optimism, love it.
She is very optimistic. Not quite as optimistic as my boy, but very optimistic. Phil is the best character. Hashtag Phil for life. If that ever changes, it's going to be really sad. But I hope I keep it. I hope I can. I don't know. Ray really came close for me this time. I really liked Ray in this arc. Mm-hmm. All right, so now we'll get on to what I called the big 3 last time. That is now the big 2. Ray or Emma, who you like better? And I'm going to say I got Ray at number 1 and Emma at number 2. Shania?
In a shocking twist of events, Emma, number 1. Ray, number 2. Phil, number 3.
Wow. Putting Phil in the big 3. You know what? Phil deserves to be in the big 3. Number 1 for Phil. All right, Kate, what do you have?
All right, consider we're throwing Phil in there.
Yeah, you got to put Phil in the mix. You must.
Yes, I do have to put Phil in the mix. I'm going to say probably, I'm going to do Ray, Emma, and then Phil.
Oh, bottom of the barrel for Phil. That's sad. That's sad to see how far.
Phil has done nothing in this arc.
Can I just say, for everyone who cares, Luke's favorite character is about to change in 2 arcs. I'm calling it right here, right now. In 2 arcs, we're going to see a dramatic upheaval in who Luke's repping. Mm.
She doesn't know that. She doesn't know what she's talking about. Phil is the best character ever. All right. Which leaves us with the last question. How does this arc stack up against the other arcs? And Kate, since you're new, we'll just start with you here. How do you feel that the Mysterious Forest arc stacks up against the Jailbreak arc, which was the first one we read?
Yeah, I really, really like this arc. I think it's an amazing introduction into the world that they're going into. Like, a lot of the time in the first arc, it was all about, preparing to go to the outside world. It wasn't a lot of, what is it actually like? And in this arc, we find out a lot about this new world that they kind of live in here. And, I like this arc a little bit better than the first one. But I would not change, the first arc for anything, though, still. It is still very high regard in my mind.
Yeah. I think I liked this arc a lot in that it was a good introduction to the outside world. Because right off the bat, they're like, even the plants want to kill us. Even the plants. So I think it was, good that way, and bringing in the demons, because immediately you realize the outside world's not safe. Wait, not all demons are bad. So it adds in some new stuff. I still think I like the first arc a little more, because I liked getting to know the characters and establishing this baseline to realize, who they are and what they're fighting for. And I love how this arc built on that, but I still like the foundational arc the best right now.
Yeah, no shade at all to this arc, but I think I agree with Shania. I like the Jailbreak arc a little better. I think I said this actually in the last podcast, that the Jailbreak arc is one of my favorites in the whole series, but I really like that first arc, but I think I like it maybe a little better, but this is a really good arc. And so I definitely still like this arc a lot. But yeah, so that'll do it for us. Thanks so much for listening to the Pillow Fort podcast. Thanks for hanging out with us here. Next week we will be back with the arc that I don't feel good about naming right now because some people have not read it yet. Which will be chapters 53 to 74. Thanks for hanging out with us here in the Pillow Fort podcast, going over the Mysterious Forest arc. Definitely, if you liked anything we had to say, definitely give this episode a like, as well as subscribe to my channel. I bring you anime and manga content all the time, various videos, along with my weekly newsletters that cover Weekly Shonen Jump every week, and these podcasts, of course, that will keep going. So definitely subscribe to the channel. And check out my other videos if that's something you're into. But leave a comment down in the comment section if you had anything to say, if you want to talk with us. We'd love to do that with you. But we'll see you around.